Welcome to my B&B Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Ridge and Taylor over one word proves this. The bold and the beautiful tease that Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes' love story has a fork in it. This can't be good for Tridge fans who were ecstatic that their fave couple reunited. What in the world can break these two lovebirds up? Find out by reading on. Tridge are over. When Taylor and Ridge got back together, or should we say when Ridge and Brooke Logan got back together, fans were excited. Let's face it, Tridge versus. There have been 10 variations of Bridge. Taylor appears to always be Bridge's second banana. And yet, do any of these pairings ever work out? Tridge has a fork in it. This is because Playboy designer Ridge was willing to switch the blonde for a brunette whenever he wanted. Right now Ridge has sworn off Brooke away and is standing by Taylor. But in a recent B&B episode, fans heard him utter a phrase that then lit up the rumor mill. It happened when Ridge told Brooke that he is committed to Taylor. He pretty much said the same thing to Eric Forrester. What is causing this issue? Only because Ridge has never been truly committed to anyone. Ridge can't commit. Does Ridge have commitmentitis? He seems okay being committed to Taylor, but how often has he said he loves her? Being committed sounds as if Ridge is obligated to Taylor, are we right? Here's the thing. She could suddenly catch broken heart syndrome all over again if Ridge dumps her. Surely no one wants that to happen. Who chooses Ridge? Ridge also doesn't want to offend his kids, Steffi Forrester and Thomas Forrester. But the show seems intent on making Ridge feel obligated to Tay-Tay. Thus we predict her heart will soon be broken again. Tell us, B&B fans, is Ridge really over Brooke's CEO betrayal and he's hiding it well? We also have another factor in the spicy mix. Nick Marone is heading back to town. Do you think that Ridge's jealousy of his brother will provoke him into acting rash? Double cheating story. B&B's plan for Ridge and Brooke's reunion? The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that a double cheating story could be brewing. Is this B&B's long-term strategy for the reunion of Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan? Ridge is currently committed to Taylor Hayes, but Eric Forrester hinted about that commitment not being enough. Eric tried to push Ridge back in Brooke's direction by pointing out that he's not married or engaged to Taylor. Instead of sending Ridge into Brooke's arms again, Eric may have planted the idea to tie the knot with Taylor. Ridge may wind up strengthening his commitment even further by asking Taylor to be his wife and rushing to the altar with her. However, all of this just seems like a way for Ridge to deny what he's feeling for Brooke. Ridge is trying to bury his destiny and run away from the history that'll continue to haunt him. Remarrying Taylor won't change Ridge's past with Brooke, or make him forget all the wonderful memories they've made over the years. Brooke and Ridge have faced some tough times too, but something always draws them back together when they split. There's no reason to think this time will be any different. Ridge may put a ring on it with Taylor, but that won't stop all the Brooke thoughts that'll be flooding his mind in the months ahead. Of course, there's only so much rejection one person can take. That's why Brooke will start to mull over the possibility that she's wrong about Ridge being the only man for her. Brooke will ultimately revisit her romance with Nick Marone when he comes back starting this June, but that reunion may not stick. B&B's real goal may be to make Ridge jealous and give him the extra nudge he needs to surrender to Brooke. Will Ridge betray Taylor with Brooke down the road? Will Brooke betray Nick with Ridge as well? If this is the case, it's possible that the show is putting off Brooke and Ridge's reunion in order to tell a double cheating story. Ridge and Brooke may cheat on their newest romantic partners with each other in the end. In other words, Nick and Taylor could both face the string of betrayal if Brooke and Ridge's burning desires boil over. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Ridge's predictions about standing by Taylor may become broken promises. So stay tuned for updates on the bad news she'll face along with Nick. Why Hope and Steffi's peace won't last. Rivalry isn't going away forever. The bold and the beautiful reveal that there are at least 3 reasons why Hope Logan and Steffi Forrester's peace won't last. This rivalry isn't going away forever, so that's important to keep in mind as Liam Spencer's terminal illness storyline plays out. Liam is hoping that before he goes, he can find a way to put Steffi and Hope on good terms. Although Liam doesn't know it yet, he's already helped Hope and Steffi take a step in the right direction. In the May 9th episode, Hope shares a tearful embrace with Steffi and thanks her for telling the truth about Liam's grim condition. It's a powerful moment that'll set the stage for Hope and Steffi to head down a more peaceful path, one that includes Hope's upcoming return to Forrester Creations. However, This does not mean that Hope and Steffi's rivalry will disappear. Even if Steffi and Hope ultimately promise to put all the feuding behind them, that may not be a promise they can keep. What happens if Liam really passes away and isn't around to help keep the peace anymore? That should send Steffi and Hope right back into rival territory, so here are 3 reasons why their truce will fall apart. 1. Steffi and Hope's issues go far beyond Liam. Although Liam has been blaming himself for starting Hope and Steffi's feud, their issues go far beyond him. The Liam love triangle was a big part of Steffi and Hope's tension for a long time, but they fought about plenty of other things as well. That's why we doubt that if Liam genuinely faces a grim fate, Hope and Steffi will be able to stay friendly. Steffi and Hope will inevitably find more sources of conflict, just like they've done many times over the years. 2. The peace has never lasted before. History is also a good indicator that Hope and Steffi's truce won't stick. Steffi and Hope have tried to make peace before, but it certainly didn't last. It's tough to believe it'll last this time either. Hope and Steffi will come together during Liam's medical ordeal, but that surely won't be enough to keep them on positive terms indefinitely. 3. B&B needs the drama of Hope and Steffi's feud. This is a soap, so there are always going to be major rivalries to entertain fans. Steffi and Hope's feud drives tons of storylines, so B&B may restart it in the end, just so they can keep bringing the drama. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Hope and Steffi will make some predictions about putting their past hostility to rest, but they may change their tune down the road. Steffi and Hope will make some updates to their perspectives along the way. Why did Liam get a death sentence? The Bold and the Beautiful reveal that Liam Spencer has been handed a death sentence. Here's why. Fans were devastated when Liam was handed a death sentence after his horrific fight with his father Bill Spencer. Liam had no idea that an argument with his father would cause such an issue. Steffi Forrester was stunned by Liam Spencer's condition. Fans were not the only ones devastated by Liam's diagnosis. Steffi Forrester was stunned. Steffi knew that Liam was sick. Steffi also knew that Liam was determined to have his dance with his daughter no matter what happened. Steffi could not believe her eyes when she saw that test that came from John Finn Finnegan. While Liam was enjoying himself dancing with their daughter, Finn and Liam's other doctors were searching high and low for him in an attempt to get him back to the hospital. Finn finally got through to Steffi and asked if Liam was there. At that time, Finn dropped a huge bombshell on Steffi. Finn revealed that Liam was dying. Liam Spencer's illness could bring Steffi Forrester and Hope Logan back together. Steffi and Hope had come to a truce at one people before Hope made a pass at Finn. Since then, these two have not been able to get along at all. However, Steffi is the one who tells Hope about Liam's illness against his wishes. Will Hope and Steffi come to another truce for their children since Liam is their father? Liam is expected to die from this tumor, because no one can find anything to help him. There is no cure for Liam's tumor. There is really no treatment for it either. Will Liam survive? Or will he pass away as a surprise during ratings sweeps? Could an 11th hour miracle be given to Liam at the very last minute? Liam Spencer loves Hope Logan. Liam still loves Hope, and he attempted to get back with her before he found out about his tumor. Liam obviously still loves Hope, or he would not be trying to get her to reconcile with Carter. However, Liam doesn't want to get into a relationship with her again, just to break her heart by dying and leaving her. In the end, this may just be about Hope and Liam getting back together. Finn pulled off a miracle to save Eric Forrester from a sudden death. Fans have a sneaking suspicion that Finn is going to do it again. Perhaps Bold needs to decide to give Finn some sort of reward for his 2 miraculous cures in the past few years. Here's hoping Liam survives. In the ever-winding world of the Bold and the Beautiful, where passion burns hotter than a Malibu bonfire and betrayal stings sharper than a designer stiletto, one word, just one, seemingly innocuous word has managed to detonate the already fragile love story of Rich Forrester and Taylor Hayes. Committed. On the surface, it might have sounded like a promise, a proclamation of stability, a lifeline tossed to Taylor after decades of back-and-forth heartache with Ridge. But anyone who's followed this story long enough knows that when Ridge utters the word committed, it's less about loyalty and more about temporary duty, an obligation masquerading as devotion. And that word, softly spoken to both Brooke and Eric in recent episodes, is precisely the loaded grenade that signals the end of Tridge again. Longtime B&B viewers have come to recognize this moment as the calm before Ridge's inevitable storm of indecision and heartbreak. This revelation is not just speculation. After all, Rich Forrester has built his romantic legacy not on constancy but on a deeply ingrained inability to choose definitively between the two women who have defined his life, the earthy, nurturing Taylor and the sultry, volatile Brooke. Every time Ridge tries to convince the world, or more accurately, himself, that he's ready to settle down with one, it takes only a whisper of temptation from the other to set him adrift. So when he says he's committed to Taylor, fans hear something different entirely. The faint drumbeat of a breakup marching closer. And while Taylor, with her idealistic heart, may have hoped that Ridge had finally put his decades-long carousel with Brooke behind him, the truth lies in his choice of words, and that truth is haunting. Because committed isn't in love. It isn't forever. It isn't even, "I want to marry you." It's what someone says when they're convincing themselves they've made the right decision, even as their heart yearns elsewhere. Ridge didn't say, "Taylor, you're my everything." He didn't say, "You're the love of my life." Instead, he used the safe, sterile word that feels more like signing a contract than opening one's soul. And Taylor, who's been here too many times before, should have seen it for what it was. A red flag dressed in designer couture. The timing of this linguistic betrayal couldn't be worse. Just as Taylor allowed herself to believe she'd finally won the man who's ghosted her for Brooke time and again, Ridge is slowly unraveling under the weight of repressed emotions and unresolved history. Because the one thing that's always defined Ridge and Brooke more than the lies, the betrayals, the infidelities is the fact that no matter how far apart they drift, they always crash back together like waves against the cliffs of destiny. Ridge is trying to rewrite his own love story, attempting to swap fate for logic, longing for peace in Taylor's arms but haunted by the chaos he shared with Brooke. However, fate has other ideas, and Nick Marone's return is one of them. Nick's reappearance isn't just a nostalgic nod to the past. It's the match that could ignite the explosive love triangle Ridge has tried so hard to extinguish. With Nick back in the picture, Brooke already questioning whether Ridge truly is her destiny will suddenly have another option, and Ridge will be forced to confront what he's really afraid of. Not that Brooke betrayed him as CEO, but that he still can't let her go. The fear that he might lose her again, not to a mistake, but to another man, could shatter the thin veil of commitment he's tried to drape over his heart for Taylor. And once jealousy enters Ridge's bloodstream, the real Ridge comes out. Possessive, impulsive, and dangerously honest with himself. B&B is clearly preparing the ground for a dramatic double betrayal with a deliciously soapy twist in which Ridge and Brooke cheat on their current partners to immediately fall back into each other's arms as Ridge spirals into emotional chaos. Ridge, unable to resist the gravitational pull of his connection with Brooke, may slip back into old habits, finding himself in her embrace even while preparing to marry Taylor. Brooke may attempt to move on after being emotionally wounded by Ridge's hesitation and seduced by Nick's reappearance, only to be drawn back to the man she can't truly leave. If Taylor and Nick become collateral damage in the process, so be it. Because the bold and the beautiful thrives in chaos, and Ridge and Brooke rekindling their romance just as they are supposed to be committed somewhere else is the epitome of chaos. The writing is already on the wall. Eric's comments about Ridge not being married or even engaged to Taylor serve as the script's own meta-commentary, signaling to viewers that this so-called commitment is on borrowed time. Ridge might try to lock it down with a rushed proposal and impulsive act to prove to everyone, and himself, that he's really moved on, but it'll be too late. His heart's already drifting, even if he can't admit it. And Taylor, poor Taylor, will once again be left standing in the ruins of a fantasy built on false promises. All of this unfolds against the tragic backdrop of Liam Spencer's terminal illness, which serves not just as a devastating storyline on its own, but also as a mechanism to reshape the entire B&B canvas. Liam's diagnosis has already sent shockwaves through the characters' dynamics, with Steffi and Hope momentarily putting their feud on ice to focus on his well-being. But this piece, while poignant, is predictably temporary. While moments of sisterhood and catharsis may result from their shared grief, the bold and the beautiful does not maintain permanent truces, at least not when conflict sells. And once Liam's fate is sealed, whether by death or miracle, the tension between Hope and Steffi will erupt anew, particularly if Liam's final wishes include reconciliation or a last-minute confession of love. Their rivalry has never been just about Liam. It has always been about legacy, control, and proving whose life and choices are more important. Furthermore, if Hope returns to Forrester Creations as hinted at, the situation will only get worse. Steffi may have graciously told Hope the truth about Liam's condition, but she's not about to surrender her professional turf or emotional authority so easily. Meanwhile, Liam's storyline could very well serve as a pressure cooker for everyone else. His illness, as tragic as it is, presents a rare opportunity for Finn to perform another miracle, following his earlier save of Eric. And if Finn succeeds, it could reposition him as the show's most heroic character, but also the most inconvenient one. His medical brilliance may inspire admiration, but it could also create resentment, especially from Ridge and even Deacon, both of whom may feel overshadowed or questioned in their own familial roles. More importantly, Finn's involvement with Liam's care, and the emotional toll it takes on Steffi could once again place strain on their marriage, reopening wounds tied to Hope's past betrayal and Finn's silence during the Sheila saga. It's not hard to imagine that in the emotionally volatile world of B&B, one stressful night in the hospital could send Steffi spiraling back into Ridge's orbit, desperately seeking emotional clarity from the one man who's never given her a straight answer. And then there's Brooke. Brooke, who once claimed Ridge as her destiny, now stands at a crossroads. With Ridge growing distant and committed in the most superficial way to Taylor, and Nick offering a second chance at real love, Brooke may finally begin to question whether her destiny was actually a romantic trap all along. If she accepts Nick's advances, even tentatively, it will do more than just add a fourth player to the love square. It will expose Ridge's emotional hypocrisy. Because no matter how many times Ridge says he's done with Brooke, he can't handle the idea of someone else loving her. Especially not his brother. That jealousy could be the tipping point that causes Ridge to implode his relationship with Taylor in the most Ridge-like way possible, by self-sabotage. In this swirl of emotional landmines, the word committed becomes the heartbeat of a lie that Ridge can no longer sustain. It's a facade that's cracking with every glance at Brooke, every memory of their past, every hesitation before kissing Taylor goodnight. And Taylor, who's worked so hard to rebuild her sense of self, may find herself right back where she started questioning why she always settles for half of Ridge's heart. Because despite her fierce intelligence and her years of sacrifice, she remains the woman Ridge chooses when he's trying to convince himself he's over Brooke. And that, more than anything, may finally be what drives Taylor to walk away on her own terms, not because Ridge leaves her, but because she realizes she deserves more than being someone's safe choice. So as the show barrels toward its next explosive chapter, one that will no doubt involve weddings, betrayals, hospital bed confessions, and corporate power plays, it's worth remembering that in the world of the bold and the beautiful, one word is never just one word. Committed was never a promise. It was a prophecy of disappointment. And now, as Ridge's true feelings begin to re-emerge and the ghosts of Bridges' past rise to the surface, the collapse of Tridge isn't just a possibility, it's an inevitability. Because love in this universe doesn't thrive on comfort or logic. It feeds on passion, chaos, and destiny. And no matter how hard Ridge tries to silence it, destiny is knocking on his door, and it sounds a lot like Brooke Logan whispering his name. The fragility of commitment. Why Ridge and Taylor's love story is doomed. The bold and the beautiful has long thrived on the cyclical nature of its romances, particularly when it comes to Ridge Forrester and his never-ending tug-of-war between Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan. The latest spoilers suggest that Ridge and Taylor's reunion is already on shaky ground, and one single word may have sealed their fate. Committed. The illusion of commitment in Ridge's love life. Ridge's declaration that he is committed to Taylor should have been a reassuring moment for Tridge fans. Instead, it set off alarm bells because Ridge Forrester has never been a man of true, lasting commitment. His history is a revolving door of marriages, betrayals, and flip-flopping between the two most important women in his life. When Ridge tells Brooke and Eric that he is committed to Taylor, the phrasing itself is telling. He doesn't say he's in love, or that he can't live without her. He uses a word that is more apt to convey obligation than passion. In soap opera language, that's a death knell for a relationship. The fork in the road for Tridge. The spoilers describe a fork in Ridge and Taylor's love story, and there are multiple reasons why their reunion may be short-lived. Ridge's inability to stay faithful. Ridge has spent decades ping-ponging between Brooke and Taylor. Even when he claims to be all in with one, the other inevitably draws him back. His track record suggests that his current commitment to Taylor is just another temporary stop before he inevitably circles back to Brooke. Brooke's unshakable hold on him, No matter how many times Ridge walks away from Brooke, their connection is the show's ultimate endgame. Eric's meddling pointing out that Ridge isn't married to Taylor could plant the seed for Ridge to reconsider his choices. The classic soap opera strategy of bringing back Brooke's ex-boyfriend Nick, Jack Wagner, to rekindle Ridge's jealousy is Nick Marone's return. If Brooke starts rekindling things with Nick, Ridge's commitment to Taylor may crumble under his possessive instincts. The double cheating theory. A path back to Bridge? The most explosive possibility is a double cheating storyline, where Ridge and Brooke betray their current partners with each other. Here's how it could unfold. Ridge proposes to Taylor to cement their relationship under pressure, only to discover too late that he is still in love with Brooke. Brooke, hurt by Ridge's rejection, seeks comfort from Nick, which results in a brief reunion. Ridge, unable to handle Brooke being with another man, especially his brother, acts impulsively, leading to a moment of weakness with Brooke. This would create maximum drama. Taylor heartbroken again, Nick blindsided, and Ridge and Brooke back in their toxic but magnetic cycle. Why Hope and Steffi's truce won't last. While Ridge and Taylor's relationship teeters, another brewing conflict involves Hope and Steffi. Their temporary peace over Liam's illness is destined to collapse for 3 key reasons. Their rivalry runs deeper than Liam, even if Liam's condition brings them together. Their feud has always been about more than just him. Career clashes, family loyalty, and personal betrayals will resurface. Hope's return to Forrester Creations, with Hope coming back to the company, tensions over creative control and Steffi's dominance will inevitably flare up. Liam's potential death. If Liam dies, the fragile truce could shatter as grief and blame take over. Final prediction. Ridge and Taylor's inevitable end. Every time Ridge and Taylor reunite, history proves it's only a matter of time before Brooke reclaims him. His use of the word committed instead of in love is a glaring red flag. Soap characters don't stay loyal out of duty. Finn will be caught off guard, and she uses their genetic link as both shield and sword. Her plea is heartfelt but tinged with bitterness. Don't turn your back on your little girl. Finn is visibly shaken. He is attempting to keep everything together for Liam, Steffi, and his family, but Luna's emotional ambush sends him into a tailspin. Unbeknownst to her, he's already drowning in the weight of Liam's prognosis, and now this sudden demand for paternal presence adds yet another layer to his crisis. What Luna doesn't realize is that this ambush could backfire or, in a twist of fate, it might give her the chance to redeem herself in ways even Sheila couldn't predict. There's a hint that Luna might become a key to something bigger, perhaps even a life-saving solution, much like how Flo Logan saved Katie years ago with a kidney donation. Could Luna's genetics offer Liam a chance at a miracle? That is yet to be determined, but the possibility is currently floating in the air like a suspenseful beat and begs for investigation. Back in the emotional heart of the show, Hope's journey of grief is only beginning. Her tears have barely dried before the questions start piling up. Why was she left out? Why did Liam confide in Steffi but not her? Did he not trust her to handle the truth? Or worse, does he still love Steffi in a way he never loved her? These questions are not rooted in jealousy but in grief-fueled insecurity, the kind that creeps into the cracks of your soul when someone you love is dying, and you're the last to know. This painful omission stings more deeply than any prior betrayal. And yet, despite the ache, Hope finds herself softening towards Steffi, perhaps seeing her for the first time not as a rival but as a fellow warrior navigating the same storm. Unity among the mothers of his children and peace in the face of unavoidable loss are exactly what Liam would have desired. And that's what makes this moment so beautifully bittersweet. In dying, Liam may have given his daughters a chance at a more harmonious future, if Hope and Steffi can maintain this newfound solidarity. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer remains blissfully unaware that his son is dying. But that's about to change. Tomorrow's episode teases an emotional reckoning that could shake Bill to his core. The father-son relationship between Liam and Bill has always been tumultuous, riddled with egos and power plays. But as Liam sits quietly waiting for his father, the weight of everything unsaid looms large. Their last interaction was a fight, harsh words, wounded pride, and a storming off that neither thought would be the last. Now Liam's reaching out not to ask for forgiveness, but to offer it. Bill may walk into that meeting ready to lecture or assert authority, but he will walk out a changed man. Learning of Liam's condition will likely shatter the facade of dominance Bill has always worn like armor. And in that shattering, the audience may finally see the true heart of Dollar Bill, the father who loves deeply, even if he doesn't always show it the right way. Carter Walton's storyline, while disconnected from the main arc, hovers at the edge of the episode as fans continue to weigh in on his chemistry or lack thereof with Hope. It's clear the pairing isn't resonating, with viewers noting a dissonance that simply won't resolve on screen. In a world where passion and connection drive everything, forced pairings are always exposed by the glaring spotlight of viewer scrutiny. And while some suggest Carter and Hope lack the spark, others are pushing for Hope to find new love after Liam's death, perhaps even hinting at a potential connection with Finn, a move that would be controversial but undeniably juicy in a post-Liam world. Whether this is foreshadowing or fan speculation, it highlights how this storyline has reignited viewer investment and imagination in a way that few plots have recently. One thing is certain as we come to the end of this section of The Bold and the Beautiful: everything is changing. Liam's diagnosis isn't just a personal tragedy. It is a new narrative. It's tearing down old barriers, forcing enemies to find common ground, and compelling characters to confront the darkest parts of themselves. Luna's ambush of Finn signals the rise of a new generation, one that won't sit silently in the shadows. Hope and Steffi's embrace marks a possible end to a bitter rivalry, even if temporary, and Liam's journey toward acceptance is shaping into a hero's farewell, quiet, selfless, and full of love. The emotional magnitude of this episode reverberates beyond just a single day's events. It sets the stage for a reckoning not just of mortality, but of relationships, identity, and legacy. In short, this is the kind of storytelling The Bold and the Beautiful was made for: emotional, layered, and unforgettable. With the next episode promising even more powerful confrontations, viewers are bracing for impact. But for now, we sit with the image of two women, once enemies, holding each other in the quiet realization that the man they both love is slipping away, and that maybe, just maybe, love is bigger than rivalry, grief can be shared, and forgiveness, no matter how late, is still possible.